Jeremy Langdon from Sky News. Then we'll have Scott Taylor from Talk Sport. And then we'll go into questions. As usual, please just send me messages using the chat facility. Jeremy, you okay to get us underway?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Zach. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. First of all, Zach, how's the wrist, and are you fit to play next week?
Well, it's all about proving my fitness to the coaches, but it feels a lot better. And, I'm back batting now in the nets and doing some stuff in the field. So it's looking positive for sure.
It was a pretty freakish incident, wasn't it, on a marble floor? What exactly happened?
I was one of the first players to go out onto the field and with my spikes on, and basically my feet just went up from underneath me. And to protect my head, I stuck my hand out, and it was one of those freak incidents where my arm took all the weight, and it was a real shame to obviously do that and miss some Test cricket.
How much are you looking forward to a return to Test cricket potentially after Sri Lanka?
Yeah, no. Any chance to play Test cricket is, what I've always wanted to do. So, I can't wait. Whether it's this Test or down the line, then I'll be working hard to make sure I'm ready whenever I play next.
It's an incredible stadium, Zach. I mean, the biggest in the world. There's a pink ball, of course. I mean, what are your impressions first of all of the stadium?
Yeah, it's impressive for sure. When you're out there in the middle, it's a massive playing area, and the stands, are enormous. It's it's going to be an unbelievable game, especially with 55,000 people there. It's going to be way more than any of us. Well, quite a few of us have played in front of. So it's going to be a great experience. How's
the SG ball been behaving in practice so far, and what kind of effect do you think the pink ball is going to have in this match?
It seems to be swinging more than the red ball and doing a bit more for the seamers. And it seems to be a bit harder, so it seems like the spinners are skidding it on a bit more as well. So it's definitely going to play a little bit more different than the red ball, and I expect to see a bit more seam in this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think this is a match for the seamers in what's been a spin-dominated series so far?
Well, I think the spinners are still going to have to play a big role. I'll be surprised if they produce an absolute green seamer. I thought it would still spin quite a bit, but I think the seamers are going to have a bit more of a chance in this game than perhaps they did in the last couple.
Zach, there have been 15 day-night tests. There have all been results in all of them, and 13 of those 15 have been home wins. I mean, what do you make of that?
It's still a relatively new way of playing the test format. So, I mean, it's hard to look too much into the stats. And, when we've got a bit more of a few more games under our belt, then maybe that stat can be a bit more relevant. But I think we'll just play each game as it comes and see how it reacts here. There's not been too many pink ball games here, so it's kind of a new thing.
How would you feel about going back into the team as an opener? Of course, you made that 267 last summer, batting at 3. Do you have a preference? I mean, how would you feel about opening again?
Yeah, I've got no problems with opening again. I've batted in top 4 for England in those positions. So, any chance to play again, I'll do whatever role required of me. If I had a preference, it would probably be 3. But I've got no problems at all about opening.
Just finally, Zach, how's Jofra Archer's elbow looking?
That's probably a question for Jofra. I faced him in the nets yesterday and he seemed to be fine. But you never know. He's not one to complain much, so he doesn't give much away. So I'm not certain on that.
Cheers. All the best.
Thank you.
Scott Taylor, please.
Hey, Zach, you mentioned that freak injury. How important was it not to dwell on it all week and think, why me, heading into this test match?
Oh, yeah, it was quite difficult not to do that. But it's important for me to just try and look ahead. What happened. And, I was trying my best to be back for the second test, and that was what was motivating me. Unfortunately, I didn't quite do that in time. But, I'm glad to be on the mend now. And it's looking positive for this test. So we'll see how it turns out later in the week.
And you had those 2 tests in Sri Lanka, of course, your first experience of Test cricket in the subcontinent. How much of a learning curve was that, playing those 2 test matches?
Yeah, it was a great learning curve. I learned that I need to be, a bit sharper. I still, I got a couple of good balls in there, and it's important not to change too much. And I still back my game against spin. But it's still a great learning curve for me. That if I be a bit sharper and work on a few different things and do things that the best do, then then there's there's room for improvement there, which is always positive.
And you mentioned the large number of fans in this new stadium. You've probably never played in front of so many fans. How do you approach that as a player? Is there some nerves? Are you excited?
Oh no, just excitement. I mean, the nerves would be there if there were no fans there. I mean, that just comes with wanting to do well in Test cricket. But so really, with the fans there, it's just excitement now, and it feels like forever since we've played in front of fans. So if I get the chance to play in this Test, that'd be an unbelievable experience.
And just finally for me, you mentioned that the pink ball seaming around and doing bits in the nets. How much of an advantage is it? I know it's completely different conditions entirely, but playing on English wickets where the ball does seam around, that you have some sort of familiarity to the ball moving about.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll play into our hands, I think, quite well. We've grown up with those conditions, trying to play the ball late with seamed conditions. So you'd say we'd be more adapt to it than the Indians, and that's probably why they're unbelievable players to spin, because they've grown up with it. So it's interesting to see those battles of where people have grown up, and if it seams and swings, I think that could play nicely into our hands. But that said, they've got an unbelievable seam attack and incredible batsmen. So I mean, it won't help us too much. I would have thought they'll be more than capable of playing with it.
No worries. Cheers, Zach. Go well.
John Etheridge, please.
Zach, hi. Dust on the wrist. Did you know straight away that you were in a bit of trouble? Did it hurt?
It actually hurt my elbow more when I first did it, and I thought that I might have hurt my elbow. And then slowly the elbow pain went away and the wrist pain came along. So no, in answer to your question, no, I didn't straight away.
Right. Is it right that in the same area of the Indian dressing room there was a bit of carpet down, so it wasn't so slippery on their side?
That is true, yeah. I did see that carpet after and was slightly disappointed, but that's the way it goes.
And just looking at the Test match on Wednesday, from this distance, it looks like 5 of you going for 3 slots in the top 3. The 3 who played in the previous 2 Tests, and yourself back from injury, and Johnny back on tour. Is that the way you see it? 3 from 5?
I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest. I've just been thinking about getting myself fit and then leaving the question with them. So now you've mentioned it, I suppose that is the case, but it hasn't really occurred to me yet.
And though it might be different in this match with Seam playing more of a role, I mean, just how difficult was it opening the batting against spin from both ends?
Yeah, no, it's a challenge. It's a challenge I enjoyed, it was something that I'd never done before, and it was something that I'd love to do again, to have another crack at it. Obviously, it didn't go my way in Sri Lanka the way I wanted it to, but like I said before, I learned a lot, and I think if I had another crack at it now, I think I'd be a lot better off.
Simon Wilde, please.
Hi, Zach. What work have you done in training on against left arm spin? That was maybe the problem in Sri Lanka, and you're going to face another one in Axar Patel, perhaps. Have you done specific work on that?
Not particularly. I'm not going to let a few dismissals change the way I play. It's I got a couple of good balls in there. I hit one rash shot. One miss. I don't think it was a rash shot. I think I just misexecuted one shot. So for me, there's no problem there. I'm just going to continue playing the way I play, and he's a top quality bowler, Axar Patel, so obviously I'm going to give him the respect he deserves. But for me, it's not a problem in my eyes. I'm just going to keep trying to improve the way I play.
Yeah, okay. And just a more general point on vaccines. Has there been, obviously the vaccine rollout is going well in the UK now. Has there been any talk among the players that your turn is going to come soon, hopefully, and that will bring an end to some of the torment of bubble life? Has there been any chat about that?
No, we haven't really discussed it, to be honest. So, I couldn't really answer that one. But obviously, it's positive that more and more people are getting vaccinated. So that's, that can only be good for society and for cricket, I think.
Okay, thanks.
Alan Gardner, please.
Hi, Zach. Similar question to Simon, actually, but on left arm spin, what could you just sort of describe what the particular challenge that for you that was, the angle that sort of Lasith Thimbledonier was bowling and the speed, and And also whether you've kind of spoken to anyone, former teammates or coaches, since then. You've had a couple of weeks, obviously recuperating, but if you've had any chats to just about playing spin on the subcontinent, particularly, as an opener when you don't face that much in county cricket.
Yeah, no, obviously I've spoken to, I've watched quite a few of the good top players in our group and spoken to a few players about playing spin, but, it's the top players keep it simple, and that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm not trying to overcomplicate anything, like I said before. A couple of dismissals aren't going to change the way I play too much. I'm just going to try and get better at the things I do. And, the challenges in Sri Lanka was it was a new ball, and, one skidded straight on, one spun. And, a couple spun and caught the edge. And I didn't think there was much I could have done about those. And, like I said, I executed one shot, and that was the way it went for me. But that won't be changing the way I play too much. And I'll stick with what's got me here and try and get better at that.
And just of your teammates, I suppose Joe Root is the example to follow there.
Absolutely. Watching Joe in the nets and practice, he's an unbelievable player of spin. But like I said before, he's an unbelievable player of spin because he keeps it so simple. He goes right forward or right back, and just always looking to score. And I think that's why he's so successful, because he's got such a brilliant, simple game against it.
And you're a tall guy. Is that something you can look to use to your advantage, in terms of getting right forward or dropping very deep?
Absolutely, yeah. It's something that I can do a bit more of. That's what I was talking about before. Perhaps when I was saying and doing what I do, just doing it a bit better. That's something that I'll look to do a bit better. Just using my height a bit more and getting out to the spinners and getting them right back. So yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Richard Gibson, please.
Zach, I was also going to ask you about spin, so I'll change the question slightly. When Dom Sibley was in Sri Lanka, he made a very sort of distinct decision to work on his technique. Is it equally important, the way you've gone, to be very decisive when you are deciding not to make changes, if you like?
Sorry, could you ask that again?
Yeah, Dom Sibley was quite public about making changes to his game for playing spin. You've told us you don't think you need to. Is it as important for you to be decisive that you are going to do something, or that you're not going to do something, as vice versa? When you because I guess you're always trying to judge technique and whether things need tinkering with.
Yeah, I think so. It's very easy to, in this environment I found in Test cricket, to, there's a lot of scrutiny and it's very easy to change quickly. But, I've played a game that's got me here so far, and a couple of Test matches in Sri Lanka aren't going to change that. If I, down the line, it continues to be a problem, then that's something that to look at. But, there's obviously been a bit of talk about the way Adwardania got a few wickets early in Sri Lanka, but I think for me it's all about sticking with what I know and my opinion and people's opinions who've been around me this whole time and the opinions that I listen to and stick with in these scenarios. And for now, I think it's about playing my game.
Who are those people that you listen to?
I've got coaches back home and people who know my game, family members. And trusted people who I speak to all the time, and they're the people I go to when I want to speak about the game.
Okay, and so and in terms of your off time, are you a bit of a fitness bunny? Have you been doing extra fitness work while you've been off, or anything like that? Is there any downtime?
Yeah, I've been doing a fair bit of running and a bit of lower body gym work to just stay in shape and make sure I was ready when I had the chance to come back. So. I feel in pretty good shape physically, so that's lucky.
Has anyone caught Stokes up yet on the 2 kilometre runs?
Well, we've got a few fit lads in our group, so it's we're very fortunate actually. The boys are taking it very seriously these days. So it's there's a few lads up there for sure.
Not on his shoulder yet though.
Well, there's a couple past his shoulder actually. James
Are they?
Bracey. Yeah, James Bracey, Josh Butler would probably have Stokes' number.
Oh, right. Okay.
Joe Root's very fit. So to name but a few.
Thank you.
But don't get me wrong, Stokes is extremely fit.
What about yourself?
I've got Stokesy covered as well, I suppose, if we're counting me.
That's what I'd heard. Thank you. Cheers.
Just before we wrap up, there was a small issue with the recording at the start of this Zoom call. So if it's all right with all of you, I'll just ask the first question again that Jeremy Langdon posed. Zak, how are you, and are you ready for the third test?
Yeah, no, I've improved quite a bit with my wrist, thankfully, and I've been doing plenty of batting in the nets and making sure that I'm as fit as possible for this test, so that the selectors can prove me fit, and hopefully there's a chance that I'll be selected.
Are there any more questions, anyone? Okay, thank you very much.